I did want to correct something abstract. It made it sound like I single-handedly designed the Gold King treatment plant. There was a team. Eric Lancaster with Mine Water was critical to our effort. And anyway, but thank you for the opportunity to present. At Mine Water, we've acquired several mines. We bought the London mine in 2016. And I want to talk about the financing of that and the cleanup efforts and results. And maybe we'd ever do that again. So this is a cross section, a longitudinal section, as it were, of the mountains just to the east of the divide between the Arkansas Basin and the South Platte Basin, starting with Peak and moving down south. And the London mine is the third largest underground mine workings in the state of Colorado, with about 150 miles of tunnels, historical production over 1.4 million ounces of gold. The vertical extent of the workings is about 3,400 feet top to bottom, and there's 17 levels. Most of the water drains out of the water tunnel, 99.9% of it. And so the why to buy this mine, maybe there's gold here. We know there's gold there, whether it's economic or not, is the question. But when they drove this tunnel, the very lowest tunnel in the district, and they broke through this fault right here in 1942, the flow out of that tunnel went from a couple hundred gallons a minute to over 750 gallons a minute sustained. And in the 70s, they got a non-tributary developed water decree for the water coming out of this mine, which is fancy legalese for saying that this water is out of the priority system. It's extremely valuable. All water is valuable. This water, you put a gallon of this water in the creek, you can take it out 300 miles downstream and use it. Everyone else's priority calls be damned. So what was discovered is that these lead-filled dolomite beds are turned up here near Mosquito Peak and are catching a lot of water. And that water gets trapped, and but for these workings would flow down and go for probably thousands of years before it surfaced down somewhere near Arkansas. So there's a very deep aquifer that's fed from this location right here, and the mining company intercepted some of that water, about 22% of that water. There's a lot more water to be developed. It's a little bit different view of the workings, a little bit closer up. You can see all the levels, or at least the levels down to the water tunnel. If you were to take any of these levels and look at them from the plan view, you can see a huge network of tunnels. So this is a very simplified version of it. So we acquired this 3,500 acres of land along with a potentially significant liability and a very complex arrangement with THF, Prairie Center, and a Metro District that owns a small part of the liability there. The state of Ben Wright and London Mine LLC. We also entered into a several with THE at the same time. We assumed 2 discharge permits. So we got Clean Water Act liability, we got everything. We identified that there's new mineral resource potential and that there's water that can be developed as part of that, unlocking that mineral potential. And we've raised a total of about $42 million in the development of that water in the last 3 years. So there's a little bit of money involved in this. City of Aurora is under contract to buy that water from us for about $115 million. We've already paid $34 million. City of Aurora does not get any water any liability for any part of this. They have a water right, paper right to collect water out of the river. They don't have anything at the site. None, zero. We have all the liabilities, but we are maintaining ourselves as a bona fide prospective purchaser under CERCLA, in that we have not mined it. We are potentially looking at mining it, in which case we could take off that veil, potentially, of the VFPP status. To do it, to maintain our bona fide prospective purchaser, to be a bona fide prospective purchaser under CERCLA, we have to do this before we buy it. We'll call it phase one. And not be affiliated with the party and go through all these steps, cooperate with the government, provide access if needed, and not buy it after before until January of 2002. So this was year after Gold King, and we walk up to a tunnel that's flowing hundreds of gallons a minute that has collapsed. We can't get this door open. We can see through a hole that there's a bunch of collapses with a bunch of orange muck and water piled up to the ceiling, and we can't get past it. And that's when we decided to buy it, which looked great to us. Further in the tunnel is a fault crossing. This is what we saw. The fault crossing with a lot of unstable conditions, and there was some old dynamite boxes here. You know, typical safe environment. We then mitigated the blowout threat, removed this door, peeled back the hillside a little bit and reached stable ground. That is what is worth about $34 million, that amount of water, you put it in perspective. We put in an alcohol tank. I love the View to Clear discussion. We're using alcohol here, byproduct of our Daniels Midland processing corn products in Illinois, and we truck it in and put it in this tank. No smoking within 100 feet. Okay, so we went in and did some stabilization of the opening. We did release a lot of orange muck. However, we contained it diligently in a pond. You can see the muck entering the pond. We had a pump back system filling sludge bags so that we contained the sludge and didn't overwhelm the pond. We also did some drilling to figure out if there was additional water rights that could be exploited, which there were. We found these dolomite encrusted veinlets through the core sampling we did, which is very encouraging for quality. And we found artesian water conditions. This is a 4-inch hole down into the ground 1,000 feet, and it's pushing up dense drilling mud, artesian pressure. The water, we encountered water at 400 feet. So you encounter water at 400 feet, you go further, and all of a sudden it comes all the way up to the surface. So that was a very interesting day. So we did $650,000 in initial exploration for water and minerals to figure out if there was, a reason to go forward. This was prior to closing, and so if we didn't find anything, we were going to lose $650,000 off the bat. But we found the artesian water and found some interesting mineral potential as well. We also looked at could we separate the water? There's contamination there. This was the largest permitted source, or this was the largest permit violator in the state of Colorado. Let's put it that way, for any contaminant in terms of mass loading. When we bought it, it was the largest violator. It was putting out roughly 30 to 40 pounds a day of zinc. This would be at low flow, October 13th of 2016. And we identified a source in the tunnel. The waterways had 22 pounds of zinc per day coming out of that one source. This is 2,000 feet back in that tunnel. We then captured that, added alcohol to it, segregated it into a limestone cavity in the mine, and produced a product water at 450 ppb versus 93,000 coming out of that source. This is the cross-section, the plan view of the water tunnel. So this is the entrance portal. We capture highly acidic water here at the source, pump it over 1,000 feet, and re-inject it into a limestone reactor cavity that was mined out in the 80s. We pump alcohol in. The green arrow is hypothetical, actually goes to this point, is transferred with the acid water, and then that keeps the rest of the water clean. Today we're discharging about 1,600 gallons a minute of treated water. I know a lot of technology, but I sure don't know how to that So our last thing that we were interested in when we did the conductivity study before we bought the mine was to make sure that there was additional water. And we looked at these two basins up there at 12,000 feet. Those have about 5 square miles of catchment, and one's flowing 4 CFS and the other one's flowing 12 CFS in the same day. That gave us a pretty good indication that the fault, the London Fault going through there, is blocking water and stopping that water from going into Mosquito Creek in the South Platte. And if we can develop that water and get it out, it's worth something. So just giving a quick example of the first 4 months, we're going to show a lot more of this, but this is the data for zinc and cadmium in the discharge in the 3 years prior to our purchase, installing the system, and immediately great results. Incidentally, not good enough to meet the NICTE's permit, but still great. I'm not sure if I can trigger this or not, but maybe able to trigger it. No, it's not quite. We did a lot of underground modeling. Spent a couple $100,000 on developing this U-kill sound. This shows the underground faults and the syncline that conveys the clean water. And if we can get the water out of the top of the Precambrian and keep it in this limestone zone, not let it rise up into porphyry up high in workings, we can keep this water clean enough to go straight into the creek without requiring a lot of treatment. You see there's a lot of drill holes, a lot of workings. This is just one level of the mine with 450 drill holes off of that level alone. So a lot of activity, a lot of mineral exploration, and a lot of oxidation, a lot of acid generation. And not sure, you probably just skip the next slide. So, capturing a small portion of really acidic, there are 100,000, a lot of times it's over 100,000 ppb zinc, pH2, treating that in situ and preserving the rest of the water. And we amend that with alcohols and sugars to create a negative redox that drops out the metals as metal sulfides. We're right now delivering about 2,000 acre-feet of water to the city of Aurora, developing another 3,000 acre-feet this fall. Every acre-foot is worth about $2,000. Interesting thing about this water is it can be used to extinction. It's a little different than a lot of other water. So if you go out and use water, you can use it, and you have to release the return flows, and somebody else gets to use it downstream. This water has a unique decree, which makes it more valuable. It's also isotopically dated to 20 or 30 years old. Means water fell and didn't come out. It's stuck in that aquifer. It's a big aquifer, and it's isolated from the South Platte. This is more of the pictures of the cores in our exploration for mineral potential in water. We've we want to explore for where is there not mineral. We're not just drilling for water or drilling for gold. We're drilling for, we want to find where there's clean rock. We want to take water out of those zones, right? But we don't necessarily want to find gold, but we do want to find where it's not. We may also want to know where it is, but every core was important to us. Just wanted to show you in the wrap up here. This is what the portal looks like now. We had a landslide happen right after we bought it. Every year it seems like there's a disaster that happens. But we spent a lot of money building a really nice portal entrance. The main thing about this portal entrance, other than being landslide resistant, which was important to me on May 9th of 2018, because I was in the portal when the landslide happened, but is that we can close those doors and seal it and stop oxygen from getting in. And if we're talking about oxygen, you can stop the oxygen. It's hard. Adding the alcohol helps a lot too. But we're going to be sensing oxygen levels in the mine at various places and closing those doors when we don't need it open. We have to get in there and maintain pumps and do work. But keeping the oxygen out can be done. We're doing it here. We're going to get very good at it, and we can measure the quality of airflow in and the quality of nitrogen gas coming out, and we know if we can intercept that acid rock drainage and stop it from oxidizing the sulfides. So this is the picture about 3 years after buying the site, and this is from EPA's ECHO, or the database from the PMR reporting. This is a 24-month trailing average, so these first data points we didn't have much control of, but we've started to seriously drop the trend, and we're targeting this number. We're not there yet, but we're getting close. We have a lot of initiatives going this year. Pull out another 3,000 acre-feet of water, we can stop a lot of contact with pyrite and improve the quality further. And next slide. So that's the one. I want to talk for a second about, can you do this for a mine that doesn't have any water rights? That's the real cool thing. We got a unique mine with water rights that's worth something, worth a lot. But I would challenge you that when you look at that teeny stream of water, and you look at the value of Cement Creek, or you look at another creek out there, it's probably worth 50 to 100 times the value that we're looking at here. Somebody downstream cares about the quality, and they care about the delivery, right? It's our challenge to identify who those people are and how to provide them better quality and more reliable timing on the delivery of the volume. Now, you might say, how do we, as remediation experts and government and people up here who don't own this water right, control the ability of the city of Las Vegas to grab some water? Well, they don't have it right now. In the water world, it's called a feudal call. They can call all they want for water rights, but if they can't get the water delivered to them, they don't own that water. There's hundreds of mines out here that have working water. And I would suggest that that's a huge funding opportunity for our industry. They want constant water they can deliver to the taps. They don't want this springtime spike in the late summer mine burst out of the gold cane. They want it delivered clean, hopefully not looking orange like this. They want it blue, and they want it